Hi, I'm Zachariah Highgate, and I'm here with the other team to talk about my single Off-Kilter, available now and coming soon on my upcoming EP, From Top to Bottom.
I've been feeling like I'm losing my way. Even though with every struggle I've been choosing to stay. Trying to paint the world in color, it's still turning to gray. I used to try to think the best in it, I'm learning to change. There are people out here hurting, they ain't nervous to aim. I wanna help, but for my health I've been returned to my lane. I'm the only one that's stopping me from turning the gauge. But I'm blessed because I'm working and not serving the
So Off-Kilter starts off with me feeling really lost and trying to figure out where I want to be in the world, what I want to be, where I want to end up, and what I want to do. And it kind of starts from the idea of the term off-kilter, which means to be kind of imbalanced, kind of not centered. And that is something that really just kind of explained how I was feeling during that time. When I first started recording this song in 2017, there was a lot of changes going on in my life. I was graduating from university. I was starting to work full time. I was meeting new people and kind of changing some of the people I was around, and also just trying to put out music consistently at that time and throughout all of that. So going through all of that and still not feeling like I fully knew what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, I really feel like the song really captures those feelings and emotions because they were top of mind at that time for me. And it was also a time where I really just wanted to speak out about some of the things I was going through, but I wanted to do it in a way that was more general than specific. I wanted to do it in a way that could be really relatable and not feel like, oh, this is just someone's very specific situation. A listener can't, directly relate to that. I wanted it to be something that kind of explained feelings that we all feel sometimes, just that idea of, I'm not centered, I'm not where I want to be, I don't feel grounded. I kind of feel like things are all over the place and I'm trying to pinpoint what is what and I'm not really there yet. So that's kind of where I was feeling, when I was going through all that, and I really wanted that to be part of the song.
That's my reality. Never had a cavalry. Keeping to myself because these friends will flip undoubtedly. Tell you that they got you, but they phony and they cowardly. People only love you till you're flowering, empowering the masses. Been through the mad.
So this is really where the salt theme that's in the music video really kind of comes to play. And it really kind of follows that part in the movie where Angelina Jolie, playing Evelyn Salt, doesn't really know who she can trust. She's trying to figure out where to go, what to do, kind of has to be undercover, has to be in secret. And sometimes I feel like, you just don't know who you can trust. You don't know who's supporting you now but may not be supporting you later. And I think at that time as well, I was also feeling like, just friendships are changing, situations are changing, and people I thought would be maybe there for me or who would be supportive of things I was doing maybe weren't as supportive as I thought. And I also kind of wanted to speak to the idea that sometimes people are happy for you when you're on a certain level, and then when you start to maybe get different opportunities or certain things present themselves to you, then people kind of may start to change or their energy may start to change, and that can be really painful if you're thinking, hey, I think this person supports me, this person likes me, this person wants to see me win, and then suddenly you're kind of met with the fact that maybe not that much, and that can be really, really painful because, I really like to give as an artist and a creative. I like to support because I know what it's like to not have that support. So, sometimes that was a little bit unfortunate, that feeling that, I kind of have to hunker down and just trust in myself and trust in my own abilities and maybe be careful of, what I bring around myself and kind of what I allow in my space, because not everyone may have the best intentions for you. And I still feel like I experienced that today. So that's something that I could relate to then when I said it, and that I can still relate to now.
With the scars and the damage, it happens. But I was told to hide my story and my sadness. Swallowing the acid is probably why I'm turning to a savage. Feeling off kilter. I've been feeling off kilter. Yeah, feeling off kilter. I've been feeling off kilter. feeling off kilter. I've been feeling off kilter. Yeah, feeling off kilter. I've been feeling off kilter.
So I have a really funny story when it comes to the hook. So when I wrote the hook in 2017 and I recorded it, I really wanted there to be that passion and that just kind of just really explaining and emphasizing how I felt at that time, you know? And when I kind of came up with this idea to have the rah in there, it was so easy for me to do because of everything I was going through, everything I was feeling. Like I just needed to roar. I just needed to let the people know how I felt. But when we re-recorded this song in 2022, I did find that, you know, my voice had changed a lot, and this was for the whole song. This wasn't just for the hook. I just emphasize things different. I rap differently, you know, the way my cadence is different. So having all of that, kind of seeing the evolution of me as an artist and recognizing, okay, we can't do things exactly the same as we did them then was, you know, it took a little bit of work just to kind of get around that. And one of the big examples of that is with that roar. When I went back in the studio this year to re-record that, I couldn't quite get it out the same way. It just wasn't the same, like it just didn't have that growl, that aggression, that passion. And I was actually trying it a few times, and my engineer would be like, maybe we can do that one more time. Because it was just challenging for me to kind of come back to that emotion and kind of reflect it again in the same way. And so I kind of compared it to kind of almost being like Kid Simba. Like I was like Kid Simba again. I was like, rear! Like it just wasn't that growl that I needed, you know, it wasn't Mufasa. But I also had to recognize that with time, as an artist, I've grown, I've changed, and the way I express myself is not going to be the same as how I expressed myself so many years ago, you know? And those feelings that I felt so strongly then, I still feel them and understand them, but I feel them in a different way. You know, I've internalized them in a different way. So I'm not going to be able to completely emulate that version of me from so long ago. So we kept working on it, and I was able to get it to a point that I was really proud of it. And, you know, shout out to my engineer, Santosh Blur, for being patient with me throughout that process and always encouraging me to, like, you know, we got to get that best take, you know, because he knows how I am. He knows I want it to be at its best. And I really did want it to be similar, at least to the original, and give similar energy. So it took me a few tries, but I'm very proud with how it ultimately ended up. And I definitely felt like, you know, I was no longer Kid Simba. I wasn't Mufasa, but I was grown Simba. And I'd finally found my own way to do it. And I was really proud of that. So I'm very, very proud of the hook, and I'm very proud of how it sounds.
Feeling like the struggle's never leaving me. I can't even sleep because I keep having these fever dreams. People have perceptions based on what they see on TV screens. Being Mary Jane, but I don't think they've seen a being me. Mama put a dream in me, so I went from timid into TNT. And no one's browbeating me. Came up out of hardship, didn't do it easily. Think I'm getting closer, but I'm hitting walls repeatedly.
So one line in this song that I think really stands out as kind of an example of when this song was written would definitely be the Being Mary Jane line. For those that don't know, Being Mary Jane was a show that was airing from 2012 to 2019, and at that time, it was a really big show starring Gabrielle Union, and it was really about her life, you know what I mean? Just kind of living and being Mary Jane, going through dating and work and situations, and just how she navigated those moments. And I sometimes feel like as an Afro-Indigenous artist, as an androgynous artist, as someone who is different, you know, sometimes I feel like I wish there was a being Zachariah Highgate, because if there was kind of a show or a programming that kind of showed my life, then instead of judging or, you know, being misunderstood all the time, people actually would kind of see like the ups and downs that I go through, and they would understand that it's not maybe what they think it is. I think some people maybe think like, oh, I just have it easy, or things are this way, or whatever, but there's so much more that goes on that I sometimes have to navigate and that I have to overcome in order to get to where I want to be. So, you know, just recognizing that, you know, if there was that kind of programming or example to share with people, then maybe they would understand me a little bit more. And I think I just really related to that idea that her life wasn't perfect in the show. She had ups and downs. She had embarrassing moments. You know, she made mistakes. She learned lessons. And I'm like, yeah, I go through that too. You know, like, why can't people see me like that? Why can't they see me as just like a human in that way? So that was something that I kind of felt like, you know, I really could relate to. And I'm really proud of that line. But what I like about that line especially is that it's a relic of that time. So when you hear that line, you know when that show was, and that can also explain to you when I wrote that song. So I think that's a really good example of that. The other line that I really like in this section is the turn timid into TNT. And I love that line because it was really just about like me growing and just me being able to stand up for myself, stand up for my art, you know, going through certain things in life and having to really be like, you know, just stand behind myself and just recognize like, you know what, I can't just let certain things pass me by. I can't let, you know, certain energies or people kind of dictate how I move in situations. I have to stand up for me. I have to be me, and I have to be strong in that, you know what I mean? And I have to be unapologetic about it. And I reference my mom because, you know, she always pushed me to dream big, to work hard. She really set the example of Black excellence for me that I keep in everything that I do. There's always that understanding that, like, I want this to be perfect. I want this to be great. I want this to be awesome because it's representative of me, you know, and at the end of the day, that's me. That's my imprint in the world, my art, you know, my writing, the things that I do. So she always taught me, like, you know, dream big, work hard, make it happen. And I'm so grateful for that because it really made me into the person that I am. So being able to reflect on that and how I felt then and how I still feel that same way now is really amazing, you know, and I'm very grateful for all her support and for, you know, that courage that she put inside of me.
Wish they had warned me that the path I took would leave me feeling lonely. I keep my blessings to myself, I keep them low-key, because I realized that I'm hated cause he chose me. That's what I've accepted, and it took more than a moment of reflection. I've been breaking out not cause of clout but cause I'm stressing. Every day I wonder, is this industry what I should step in? Or should I switch directions way before I'm too invested? Yeah. Feeling off-kilter. I've been feeling off-kilter. Yeah. Feeling off-kilter. I've been feeling off-kilter. Feeling off-kilter. I've been feeling off-kilter. Yeah, feeling off-kilter. I've been feeling off-kilter. What am I to do? What am I to do?
What am I to do? What am I to do?
What am I to do? What am I to do?
What am I to do? What am I to do?
Yeah. It's Zachariah.
Now the outro for this song is one of my favorite parts. The way the instrumental switches up is actually why I got this beat. It was produced by Jonas K, who is an incredibly talented producer, who's been so supportive of the release, so shout out to him. I really appreciate it. And I just liked how it just kind of flipped. And I remember when I was writing to the song, like I was like, how are we gonna kind of like change up the song and change up the messaging based on that? And a lot of the feedback for the song is they really like how it kind of changes up at the end. They don't see that coming. So I really, really like that. And what I said at that part in the song, you know, the outro was kind of like, what am I to do? What am I to do? Like, that comes back to this idea, especially when we're talking about timid into TNT, like, even when you do develop that confidence, even when you do develop that courage and you feel like you're able to, you know, have bravery, that doesn't mean you kind of have it all together and that suddenly the way forward is completely mapped out. You can still go through struggles. Like, I feel like when you listen to Off-Kilter in full, I'm pinpointing all these different things that are reasons why I could be feeling down. You know, I'm trying to paint the world in color, it's still turning to gray. You know, I have friends that I don't know if I can trust. You know what I mean? The path is lonely. I didn't know that. Now I'm seeing that. But even after all of that, I'm still asking myself in the end, what am I to do? You know, it doesn't mean that it's going to be easier. It's easier in certain ways. You know, I've grown, I've developed, I'm able to navigate, but that doesn't mean I have the answer for everything, that I'm able to just suddenly, you know, wave a magic wand and I know exactly what I'm going to do. So I think I wanted to come back to that in the end, just to leave that with the listeners and just remind them that, it doesn't mean that the path forward, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep working hard and making it happen, but be gentle with yourself and recognize, you may not have all the answers, but it doesn't mean that good things aren't coming, great things aren't on their way. It just is. Don't think that just because I've reached a certain level, suddenly it's just going to be easy from here on out and suddenly everything's just going to make sense, because it may not be like that. And I think that's what I've learned in life since I've written the song to now, is that, you never know, where life's going to take you, what you're going to do. So being just open to the ride, and being okay with not knowing all the answers. I don't know them now, I don't know what the next year will hold for me. I have an idea of what I want it to hold for me, but I can't, predict what it's going to be. But that doesn't mean it's not worth living and not worth figuring out as I go along the way. So I'm grateful, for the opportunity to speak on that and be able to kind of just be candid and be honest and be like, I don't know either. I don't, maybe it may look like I do, or it may seem like I have an idea, but I'm not perfect. I'm figuring out it as I go as well. And I just kind of wanted to speak on that. And I love that the outro kind of gave me that opportunity to kind of, put that in there. Hi, I'm Zachariah Highgate, and that was Off-Kilter from top to bottom. Off-Kilter is available everywhere now for streaming and purchase. The music video for Off-Kilter is also out now, so please check that out. And my upcoming EP is on the way. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram or YouTube, you can follow me at Zachariah Highgate. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter or TikTok, you can follow me at The Zachariah Experience.
Feeling off kilter. I've been feeling off kilter. Yeah, feeling off kilter. I've been feeling off kilter. Feeling off kilter. I've been feeling off kilter.